Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. I am Stan Berteloot, and I'm joined by Snezhi.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for joining us today.
So in the next 35 minutes, we are going to guide you through the tools and the strategy that we use at Nitro Marketing to develop and execute go-to-market strategy. It's not a tutorial. We are not going to take you through all the tools. However, it's a high-level overview of how modern marketing team should leverage AI as a collaborative partner to enhance their operation. But before we jump in, I would love to get a sense of the room. And so please add your city and maybe your industry in the comments. I'm looking at the chat right now, and we will check our example based on where you are joining from. Also, as you do that, scan this QR code or go to the URL. This is an access to the companion page that we have created. You will see a lot of tools. We are going to give you a concrete example, and maybe that might be a little bit overwhelming. So don't worry, all the information is on that page. So now is the opportunity to do that. Make sure you scan the code again, and don't worry if you don't do it right now, because it will come back throughout the presentation. All right, so let us know where you are joining from. We've got Chandra from Ohio. Welcome, Ohio. Let us know where you're coming from. And we've got, right, so thank you. Also, let us know what industry you are in. This is going to be interesting, right? India, it's a global session, amazing. Right, so let me move on with the presentation. Okay, we've got Sophia here. This is exciting. I love it. All right, why are we doing that? And why are we interested in AI and in automation? Well, 50% of startups or small business say that they stop their marketing activities because they just don't have the time for it, right? So that's a big showstopper. And yet, if you look at sales team, 83% of the sales using AI say that they generate more revenue than teams not using AI. So now think for a minute, what would that mean for a marketing team? How would you enhance yourself if you were using AI more?
I'd like to challenge that a little bit, Stan, if you don't mind, and start first of all with the title of our session is actually related to marketing engine. And I wanted to define that or to share how we understand what a marketing engine is, just to set the ground for the session. So when we say a marketing engine, in Nitro Marketing, we understand a systematic, repeatable, data-driven machine that drives demand generation, lead nurturing, and eventually converts lead into revenue for the business and for the company. Right. So this engine actually consists of different core elements, right? And there is some foundational work that needs to be done before we try to automate all of this. Some of those core elements we're going to go through, like the value proposition, identifying your ideal customer profile, the content strategy. But the tool set or the AI tools that we're going to review, which will help you in the process, will help you automate some parts of that, and will ultimately make you more productive, execute faster. Those come at the end, right? So there needs to be some work done by you, by your team, for your business before you actually are able to automate all of that. And I wanted to make it clear for the audience now, because I know there might be some questions, but AI cannot do the, the foundational work for you.
No,
And that's why we want to take it step by step, but also understand it's a process that requires the teamwork and the AI tools, right? And when you
absolutely.
say that marketing takes time, I think that every function takes time, right? Every role takes time in the company. Maybe the question is, or the different thing with marketing, the special thing in marketing is that it requires a very diverse skill set. And if you remember previously, especially for smaller companies or mid-sized businesses, you had maybe one person doing the marketing. And I've been in that role where you have to write copy, create designs, then update the website, then manage an event, set up, organize everything. So it's a very diverse skill set. And what is normal is that a person is good at one thing or a few things, but then they're not so good at others. With the support of AI nowadays, you can actually produce good quality faster in areas which are not so good at. And the key is that you know how to do that. You know how to prompt, you know how to use those tools to be productive.
Mhm.
And I'm stopping here because I want you to continue. But please
I-
feel free to engage with us and to ask questions and put comments or thoughts. We want that to be interactive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ask your question by all means. And Snezhi, I fully agree with you. And this is why we are going to look at uh, what is expertise in marketing and how to combine your expertise with AI in order to create precision marketing. I'm going to take you through a use case where we are going to first start with the value proposition definition, then the ICP, ideal customer profile definition. We're going to look at doing a market research. Then once we've got that, we will build a list of contact and finally generate content. Those are the key steps of any campaign. And as you said, Snezhi, we start with expertise, right? The marketing know-how. So this is my toolbox. And you have a lot of tools here, right? You may recognize some of the logos. Obviously, ChatGPT and Gemini. Increasingly, I'm using Gemini. I would encourage you to do that. This is new to me. I was really stuck on GPT. Gemini has recently improved enormously. Notebook LM from Google, fantastic tools, especially during the research process. I will create a notebook with a lot of information about a client, for example, or a topic, and then I will, you can generate podcast, automated podcast on a notebook, go for a walk and learn about this topic. Descript is my go-to tool for vibe coding to develop application. And you will see we are going to talk a lot about that. Cursor right here, the black icon. Descript on the top right is a tool that I use to edit content, edit audio, video, and generate content. I will also take you through that. Phantom Buster is a tool which you will see mentioned during this presentation. It's an amazing tool to automate tasks on social media. We use it mostly on LinkedIn. I'm not going to go through all those tools. Again, if you have access, if you scan the QR code, you have access to the companion page and the links to those tools. Maybe just to mention a few of the tools I use all the time. Whisperflow, the icon like between Phantom Buster and HubSpot. It's a fantastic tool to just speak to your computer in any app and convert it into text. I save hours using that tool. Granola is a new tool that I've been using to take notes in minutes. And VoiceStream is the tool we are going to talk about today in our use case. It's a tool that we have developed at Nitro Marketing that enables you to turn text into audio. We use it for podcast creation, and we'll talk more about it.
Stan, I see that there are a lot of tools, like, are they 20 here? And maybe some of our audience might be overwhelmed seeing so many tools for different purposes, I guess. How easy is it to really learn those tools, to work efficiently with them? How much time did it take you, for example, to master them?
Well, I mean, it all depends, right? Most of them are pretty straightforward and easy to use, right? Using them well require a little bit more training, like anything. But the good news is that today with AI, you can learn, you can ask a question, right? If you don't know how to prompt something properly, why don't you ask ChatGPT or Gemini to prompt, to suggest a prompt? As long as you know the basics of a prompt, you can then work with AI to create better anything. If you don't know how to use Descript, ask ChatGPT or look on YouTube, right? So today there is no excuse for not knowing how to use anything because everything is available online. Does it take time? Depends, right? Some are straightforward, some are more difficult. Obviously, Cursor is, took me a lot of training. But for a marketer nowadays, I don't think there is any way out of it, right? If we want to survive in this industry, we need to play with those tools.
And actually, on the page that you show here, right, you have all the tools and what you're using them for, so that people can just go through them and identify which might be useful for them or which might be relevant for their business or their role, because those are just suggestions from our side. As you know, the market is flooded with a lot
Mhm.
of technologies and AI tools nowadays. These are the ones we've tested. Stan has tested and works a lot with them. So it's just a recommendation. And maybe if you have any other suggestions or you've tested other tools, you can share with us so that we could all learn together.
That's a very good idea. Why don't you drop in the comments the tool that you love and use daily? We would love to see that. So let's imagine that you are a salesperson or a marketer and that your job is to promote and pitch VoiceStream. So VoiceStream is the tool that we mentioned. It's a tool that allows you to turn text into podcast and newsletter. We use it for mostly, and our clients use it for thought leadership, to gain more thought leadership, to be seen as the voice of your industry. So I'm going to take you through the steps to do that. So your job is to pitch this product. Now, how do we proceed? Well, at Nitro Marketing, we always proceed by defining the value proposition, right? And then we design a go-to-market strategy. Only then do we start developing content. We launch the campaign. We learn from this initial launch. We refine, and we adjust the value proposition. So this is sort of a loop. And all right, thank you for sharing, guys. So I see people are using ChatGPT, HubSpot, Breeze, yeah, ChatGPT. So absolutely. I mean, we're all using ChatGPT, which is okay, and Grok, I guess.
Rock, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So this is the virtual loop that we use, right?
I think one important thing to share here as well is why do we start with the value proposition? And I know you're going to talk about the steps here and what we're doing in also in our methodology to define a strong value proposition. But basically, this is the unique advantage of your company or your product, right? This is the value proposition is what is it unique and that you do better than the others, which is very important. And then a clear value proposition also drives consistency across all marketing and sales, because we need to have the same understanding about the product and the benefits and how we solve the customer's problem. And finally, it also shortens the sales cycle, because when you talk to the right people and you have the right message, that makes it much easier to ultimately sell your product or solution. And therefore, we always, when we have, let's say, we start a project with a customer or we have initial meetings, we always ask about the value proposition. And if you feel like it's not strong enough, or it's not well defined, or it requires more work, that's where we always recommend to do a value proposition workshop and define that, which Stan is going to walk you through quickly before we do anything else, because that's, again, the foundation.
Exactly. So when you look at the value proposition, you don't start by, who is my competition, what are the big trends. You really focus on what job is my product being hired to do. What it is that people are trying to do with your product. Why would they use your product? What it is that they will do. So that's really the start. And that will enable you, as you develop your value proposition, to identify your ideal prospect, and finally to create a searchable prospect universe to find how to identify that prospect. Right. So this is really the underlying methodology. How do we do that? All right. So I'm going to pause for a minute. And again, this is the description of what VoiceStream is. You need your client or yourself, you need to start by saying, okay, if I think of VoiceStream, I think of it as a news desk in the cloud that will turn any expert insight into a polished audio briefing, complete with ready-to-post LinkedIn for LinkedIn newsletter, right? It is, as I said, the fastest path to thought leadership. Or it is, a text podcast powered by AI. You need to have like a basic understanding of what your product is and how to position it. Now that we've got that, we are going to use AI to help us define the value proposition. In order to do that, you need to understand what is a good prompt, right? This is like the basics of AI, and I'm sure you guys using AI, you know that by heart. But just so that we all align here, you need a context. So what it is you are trying to do, and in this case, that would be help me find the job to be done, or the pain that people express. The role, who are you, right? You are a B2B marketer specialized in XYZ. The goal, what it is you want out of it, and your goal is to produce a text or whatever. The constraint, no more than X hundred, 200 words, or the input is what you are going to provide as background information. And the process, maybe you might want the AI to read, process the information, and then ask you for further question. So it's really, how you want it to behave. And finally, the output format. I want it as a doc, marked up document. I want it as a CSV file. I want it as a drawing. So this is the basic of a prompt. Again, don't worry, you will find it in the companion page. So now that we know how to prompt, let's find the job to be done for the voice stream here. So you see here, here is my product. So I would paste the description I gave you earlier on. The role, you are an experienced B2B marketer and market analyst, and your task is to clearly define the job to be done that motivates user to adopt this tool or services. And then what you want it to do. And finally, I want you to deliver 4 to 6 variants of the job to be done. So let's see. This is the prompt. I used it exactly like that. And I got the following feedback, right? Return.
And was that on ChatGPT?
Yeah, I did that on ChatGPT.
Okay.
And this is the result, right? So job to be done. I need to publish industry commentary every day so my audience sees me as an authority before competitors feel that voice or own the narrative, right? So it's really interesting. This is what people using voice stream would, why they would do that, the job that they would do with this tool, right? So I'm not going to read all of that, but you understand where we are going with that. We start with the job to be done. Then moving on.
Stan, just one comment here. The jobs to be done is an interesting first step in the value proposition methodology because there are various ways to build a value proposition, right? Sometimes you define first the roles within a company or a specific segment of companies that you would like to target, and then you start thinking about the roles and what those people do. Well, here we're thinking about what kind of tasks this product or solution solves first. And I think it's the good thing about that is that it's kind of objective, right? Because sometimes we're very excited about our product or solution, that we focus very much on the benefits and how it will help the CFO, CMO, and so on. But we don't really put ourselves into the shoes of the customer and think about, okay, if the customer, what is the customer going to need, and to what are their objectives, how they're using and using the tool, and how this could help them. So it kind of objectivize in a way the thought process here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's even maybe more interesting now is to understand the pain clusters. You know, what are their pain? Why do they need to do those jobs? So in the same chat, I'm now going to use this short prompt here, which is identify 8 user group who experience this job to be done most intensely. So, all right, we start to put to look for an understanding of the group of user, and for each group describe the specific pain they feel, how frequently they experience that pain, and the operational or financial consequence of not solving it. So here we're really diving deep into the understanding of our audience, right? So let's see what happens when we do that. Again, in ChatGPT, in the same chat. So, and maybe before I show you the result, why is it important, right? Because personas, you know, a persona can be vague, right? A pen cluster, on the other hand, is not vague. It's really, it grounds your understanding of why people would use your service or product in the reality of their pen. So if we look at the result, and we ask for, was it 8, I think, pen cluster, I'm just going to show you 2 because more would not have fit on this slide. So one of the group that ChatGPT came up with was B2B marketing director. The other one was founders and CEO of B2B startups, right? The pain that the marketer experiences is the constant pressure to keep brand visibility high while juggling campaign, launches, exec demands, content output. When do they experience it? Well, pretty much all the time. And the consequence of not doing that is that it's a declining share of voice, weakening brand perception, slower MQL and product qualified lead growth. For the founder, their pain is that they are the brand thought leader, but they have zero time to create consistent market commentary, right? They would love to do it. They are actually the brand of their company, of their product, but they don't have time to do that. And if they don't do it, well, obviously it's a missed credibility moment, slower fundraising, weaker inbound momentum. I mean, they are not visible. They are just a ghost on their on their market. So that would be pain, right? So you see the process. It's not done. Now we need to extract the buying criteria. When are they going to look for a solution? What are their criteria? We need to map concurrent to current alternative. Obviously, VoiceStream is not the only tool there. What are the competition? We need to convert the pain group into prospect universe on LinkedIn. So we have a lot more to do. We are not going to take you through all those steps because it would take too much time, but I think you really start to understand the process here. And we would do that in the same chat on ChatGPT. However, I was doing it myself, and I wonder, what if an app could do all that for me? And this is where I want to pause and take you through my thought process. As a modern marketer, I turn to a tool that I use, which is called Cursor. And I wonder if any of you in the audience are doing vibe coding. I'm not a developer, but using Cursor and chatting, just like I chat on ChatGPT, asking questions, I was able to design this app, which you have access to in the companion page, which is a value proposition generator. And you see the green dots here, those steps. They are pretty much the steps I took you through. You only have 3 steps before you get to your universe, your prospect universe. So 2 things here. First of all, yes, to do value proposition, I decided to generate and create my own application. It makes sense for me. But as a marketer, you should start thinking, oh my God, we can generate application. We can do pretty much everything we want. Obviously, you are not going to develop, enterprise application, but you can do simple apps that will be used for many things. And that brings me to a service that we now offer our clients, which are like lead magnet. We have been developing ROI calculator, for example, for a client. We've been developing assessment tool. Sky is the limit. And I think this is one of the big takeaway of this session, is that those tools can really give you the opportunity to create what you can imagine. The problem now is imagining what you can do with that.
Stan, when you say vibe coding, because I don't know if everyone in the audience knows what that is. Basically, it doesn't require you to have a technical background in order to use those vibe coding tools, right?
No.
It's a process workflow.
It's a process where you are going to chat, like you write a prompt in the app, and the result is code. It's an application. It's a software that you are going to be developing in conjunction with this tool. So you are going to ask it to change. You don't like the color, change the color. You don't like the layout. You are going to really express all that, and going back and forth, you are going to shape the application that you want to develop.
Based on prompts.
Based on prompt, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Cursor is amazing for SQL and Python. And do you check if AI feedback is not hallucinating? Yeah, obviously. And this is back to what I was saying earlier. Being an expert in what you do is essential, because you're an expert, you know what to expect, and you can challenge AI, right? I'm not a coder, so I'm sure the code is not extremely clean, but at the end of the day, for what I use it for, it's good enough, I would say. I'm sure like a professional developer would look at the app and say, oh my God, it could be way simpler, for sure. For a marketer,
and we also test, right, Stan? What we do when you develop a new tool, you send it to the team and you ask them to test it and give feedback. That's also very important to identify if there are any gaps or anything that's not working.
And you will see, I also use other AI like Claude or ChatGPT to test the code and to make sure it is safe. Like I'm using API keys, which I don't want to be revealed on the web. And you need the app to be safe. AI can help you to do that. A developer would do a better job, I'm sure. But so this is an app that I've done using what we call now vibe coding, and I'm using Cursor. You have other tools to do that, like Lovable, for example, or Base something 33, I think, or 44. I don't. So you have many tools available. Even Google is releasing a tools. Here you see the process that I'm walking the user to when developing a value proposition using this tool. And you also see that you have a little pencil here. I really want people to be able to use their knowledge, their expertise to fine-tune what the AI is proposing. So human is in the loop. And I think this is also a big takeaway. You should always be in the loop, and you should check everything that is produced by AI. So at the end of the process, I come up with a value proposition, which include the statement, the value proposition statement, the segment target, B2B marketing director, the main jobs, what else? The some of the pain they experience. So that would be an example. And I also come up with a prospect universe. And this is quite interesting because the app is going to suggest different job titles. B2B marketing director is just one of many job titles. So you've got suggestion here. The buying criteria trigger, when would they buy? Some trade shows that they may attend, and that will be interesting for you to target them. Hashtag, keywords. So you have a lot of information that you can use to further your understanding of this segment and create your value proposition. So I'm being conscious of time. Now that we start to have a good grasp of the value proposition, you need to know the market. And again, AI is there for you. You can launch a deep search, and all the tools now have access to deep search. When doing a deep search to do a market study or any kind of research, the quality of the prompt is essential. And what I often do is I ask ChatGPT using the best prompt the best practice of prompting an AI. I ask ChatGPT to draft a deep search prompt, which is way more advanced. And this is just an example of this prompt.
So to understand you right, you ask ChatGPT to build a prompt for you, which you then use in the deep search, wherever ChatGPT
exactly.
or any other tool. Okay.
Exactly. I copy that into a new chat. I enable the deep search. I will show you later on how to do that, and I launch it. Here is an example on Perplexity. And you see that it is thinking. It's fascinating to see the AI. The AI is actually thinking, looking for sources, evaluating what it finds, and 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour later, it comes back with an amazing result. And what's good is that you have all the sources, so you can check the source, which is essential, honestly. So now you've got the value proposition, you know whom you want to target, you have an understanding of your entire of the market in which you operate, the competition, etc. Let's build a list of prospects. And it's obviously when you launch a product or when you're a startup, we are often starting from scratch or almost nothing. One trick that I always find interesting is to look at what's available. We all know that people create live event, just like this live event, right? And people interested in the topic might be attending this event. So VoiceStream is a tool that is used to develop your thought leadership, right? I entered that as a keyword on LinkedIn, and I found this event where 84 people had already clicked attend. When you click attend on an event, you see the list of people. All right. Using Phantom Buster, one of my tools in my playbook here, I was able to quickly extract the list of attendees. You see it here. And I've got 85 profile extracted. And then I was able to actually enrich that list using Apollo and get a list of email address. So right there, I have maybe not 85 because a lot of those people there will be vendors or consultants, but a few of them will be quite interesting for us to prospect. So that's a good number one trick I use. Obviously, not every events are online. Some events are a physical event. This is an example from a badge table where you go and pick up your badge at a physical event. I went to this event, I took a picture of the badges, and using a workflow that I developed in make.com, I was able to extract, to build a list, including first name, last name, and company name. And then I enrich that list in Apollo. I got their LinkedIn profile, and using Phantom Buster, I was able to send them a connection message saying, hey, I see you at this event. I would love to connect on LinkedIn. And by the way, we've got a booth. Please come and say hi. And within an hour, people started to come to our booth and say, hey, I got your LinkedIn invite. Thank you so much for reaching out. And we engaged in a conversation. So again, this is a very practical use of AI. Honestly, using make.com is super simple, and a workflow like that I developed in like 15, 20 minutes. So we've got a value proposition. We know how to position our product. We know who will be interested by that. We started to build a list of prospects using different AI tricks.
And Stan, before we move into the content production, you mentioned a few times Apollo, right? Maybe we can give a little bit of explanation what Apollo does, because it also is a great source for new contacts or building your lists. And most of those tools, also including Apollo or similar to Apollo, they get updated, they get new functionalities. It's a very dynamic process. So I think not long ago, Apollo also added intent data. So you can also search by intent now. And maybe you can just give an overview what Apollo is, or what kind of other tools we have to source new data.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you know ZoomInfo to source data online, contacts. People will use, I think it's Lucia. You have Seamless AI. So you have a lot of tools. Apollo is one of those tools. We like Apollo because not only it is an online database of contacts, but it is a tool that you can use to enrich lists. So as you saw in my example, I was able to upload a list including mostly LinkedIn profile and enrich it with company name, with email address, etc. And it's more than that. It's also a tool that you can use to send email, organize email sequences. It's really growing and developing as a CRM. So it's a very interesting tool. It's not extremely user-friendly, I think, but it is a very powerful tool that we use. If you want ultimate quality of data, I think you need to combine all those tools together. It can be quite expensive, but Apollo is a good way to start, and the free version is quite amazing, honestly. So I would suggest to do that. So going back to content creation, now that we've done the basics, we definitely need to create content. And again, when you are a startup or a small company or launching a new product, you don't have much to start with. One thing that works extremely well is exactly what we are doing right now, doing a live event. Why? Because you are reaching out to people you might not know. It's not like sending an email to a list of people you hope will open your email. You use the algorithm of LinkedIn to get people that are interested in what you have to say and that you might not know. On top of that, and using automation also, before I jump into content production, using automation like Phantom Buster, you can invite people to your event on an automated way, using a workflow that will automate the invitation to your event. So this
Most
is
of
also
the people here probably received the message inviting them to this live session, right?
absolutely.
So that's an example of how we also use that automation to invite you all here and be here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now that you've done your live event, what do you have? You have a video, but actually you have much more than that. This is a screenshot from Descript where you see the transcript of the interview. So here it's me interviewing a client. I've got the transcript. Well, from that transcript, you can turn it into many things. You can turn it into a blog post. You can turn it into key takeaways, right? So that's it. Using Descript, you can also break the video into short videos, which are extremely viral.
So basically, the LinkedIn Live event you're suggesting for people to do could be used afterwards, the recording through Descript to create short viral videos for LinkedIn and social media, and to have the script based on which you can then produce blogs or other type of content, right?
Exactly. And I want to thank Carmina. Yeah, that's the tool I was looking for to do vibe coding. Base 44, in addition to Cursor and Lovable, is good. I know people using it and they love it. Thank you, Carmina. So we have content. Let's say you created a video in English, but some of your audience is Spanish, German. You can use one of the tool in my toolbox called 11 Lab to dub your video. And you can see here, you've got the original in English, you've got or in German in this case, and you've got the translation in English. You can actually tweet what the AI translated it into and make it sound like you want. You can also choose the voice that best. You can even clone your voice or choose a different voice. So 11 Lab is a fantastic tool when you want to do voice generation, and in this example, dubbing a video, right? So all those tools are giving you a reach that was not feasible just a year ago. You can also use AI and automation to generate very customized outreach approach. In this example, this is not me. It's a clone of me using Synthesia, a tool that I gave you. And in this simple workflow done on Make.com, when people fill up a form on our website, it goes to, the form is a HubSpot-based form. It fills up a Google Sheet. It goes to Synthesia. Synthesia generates a script that is based on the request, the specific request of that prospect, and generate a video which is then sent to the email address provided in the form. And the video speak to the need of that prospect and to what the message that they left on the form. So it's again, your imagination is the limit. You can do amazing, fantastic things now with AI, and I would strongly encourage you to explore all those possibilities. Repurposing live content make creation effortless. Yeah, thank you for that, Americo. This is you are exactly right. Repurposing live content is one of the best thing we could do. You've got a video, it has been dubbed in different language. You want a soundtrack, you don't have to use free music. You can create your own music now. You have a podcast, you want a jingle at the top and at the end, intro and outro. You can create music using Udio or Suno. And again, you can prompt it, just like you prompt ChatGPT. You can describe what you want using, natural language, and it will create either music with lyrics or just instrumental, and you've got your own personal music. So we went through a lot of tools, a lot of tips and tricks. Everything again is in the companion page. And if you go to the companion page, I will ask you for your email address, because I will then send you this presentation as a follow-up, right? So it was one of the questions we got. Yes, I will share the presentation. Just go to the companion page, and you will be able to receive it. ChatGPT is way more than just a chat. On the and I think I mentioned that, but on the left side, you see an example of my ChatGPT where you have quite a lot of GPTs, and GPTs are specialized AI that I train to do specific tasks, right? And the specific task would be, for example, to write a viral post on LinkedIn, or to be an expert in a particular tool that we use. You also see folders here. They are called projects. And project is where you work on a specific task all the time. So we've got different clients, and I've got a project per client, because in the project, the AI remembers what we did in the past. In the middle of this slide, you see Deep Research, Agent, and Canvas. When you click on the plus in ChatGPT, you have access to all those tools. I mentioned the Deep Research. I didn't really mention Agent, but Agent will go and perform a task and then come back with a result. It might be very interesting to use Agent, for example, to understand what a prospect does. Is a prospect hiring for specific job? You could launch your agent to have this information fed back to you. And Canvas is a way to write and work on text that I strongly encourage you to experience and experiment.
There was a question about scraping data and which tool you're using.
I'm using Phantom Buster for that. Yeah.
So because we mainly talked about LinkedIn as a platform to find prospects, organize live events, etc. Phantom Buster is a good platform to basically scrape the data you need from LinkedIn or for attendees from events.
Yeah, and Phantom Buster can do that for many other platforms. If you're a small local business and need to target people in your region, you can do a Google Map search and then use Phantom Buster to extract the search result, and you will end up with the name of the business, the URL, the social media profile, if they do have this, even the phone number and the email of the local business. So that's an example. It works also on Instagram, on Twitter. Phantom Buster is just an amazing tool. So thank you for the question, and keep them coming. I love them. And finally, in ChatGPT, you can connect app, right? You can connect your Spotify to create playlists. You can do your shopping. In this case, I'm connecting Cursor, and I'm actually using ChatGPT to debug my application, challenging what I would get in Cursor. Sometimes Cursor would go in a loop, and ChatGPT would help me debug that. So just know that you can do so much now. It's just amazing. I was talking about GPTs. This is so I'm advising a startup called Gogo Grocer here in Princeton, New Jersey, an amazing startup, and they're small. They have a very small team. They don't have a board, but they would benefit from an experienced board member team, right? So I've worked on a GPT. I trained it. I provided a lot of information about the market, the industry, the expertise, and I developed a team of, I think it's 5 expert board member, right? And now the CEO of this startup can work with the board, asking them strategic advice. And I can tell you the result is just amazing, probably better than
Don't say
yeah, no, I'm not going to say it. I was
it.
I was looking at this new comment here. Surf is a good option. It includes Impolo. Oh, thank you, Karina. You seem to be quite an expert here. We will look at this tool, which I don't know, I must say. So thank you for sharing that. Oh, it's a tool to scrap data. Okay, I see. Okay, interesting. Thank you. Right. So we are getting at the end of our presentation here, but we did not do an outreach. We looked at the value proposition. We built a list of contacts. We created content. We recycled that content. We maybe even developed a GPTs. So we are quite an expert, but we need to do an outreach. And using the same prompt format that I showed you earlier on, we now ask in a very advanced way ChatGPT to write an email, right? So, and you see here context, your B2B sales outreach. You are writing a B2B sales outreach email, all right, promoting text to voice. And here I give the context, the role, you're a marketing expert specialized in AI audio tool. The objective, I want you to produce a cold email of no more, you see here the constraint, no more than 120 words, right? So you might say, wow, it's a lot of work for only 120 words. But if you want it to be good, this is how to go about it. Input, use only what is provided, the persona. So here I'm going to copy and paste what we generated early on about the value proposition, the persona, the requirement, what not to do, very important, method, and the output, subject line plus 3 short paragraph and the CTA line. Okay, so you see here what a good prompt looks like. And the result is a simple email, but I can tell you this is a very good email because it was very well prompted with a lot of information provided. So again, I hope that this presentation, and I'm sorry we went over time, but I hope that we really inspired you maybe to discover a new tool. I hope you will want to experiment with vibe coding. Maybe you will start to add automation in some areas of your outreach, like LinkedIn, or explore how to use dedicated GPTs or GEM on Gemini. And I hope it will bring value to your daily task. So again, what did we do today? We started with understanding marketing and the market, how your marketing expertise, especially in value proposition and outreach, can be combined with AI to accelerate your go-to-market. We looked at building lists. We looked at creating content and recycling content. And that really provides you with a competitive advantage, right? Even a small team now with those tools have an amazing potential. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have more question or comment, make sure to post them in the comment. If you didn't get a chance, scan this QR code now. It will take you to the companion page with all the links, with the example of the prompt I use, and you will receive those slides after the presentation and after accessing the companion page. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much from my side as well for all the friends and colleagues and customers that joined today. Thank you so much for your time. And I always love to end with this quote that AI will not take your job, but somebody who knows AI will. So please experiment and get inspired and test so that we could all share the knowledge and grow together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.